Pop in, say hi. If you've never come into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I was doing a little bit of experimentation today to see if maybe I could go live with my hair's wet. I thought maybe I would go live with my desktop tonight because I have a 2K camera webcam there that would just make the footage so much better, right? So I apologize to be doing the experimenting 10 minutes before my live. It made me 5 minutes late. We'll see who pops in tonight. It'll take a couple of minutes, I'm assuming, before my regulars find me because I tried to go live a few times, but you know what? That's how we get better, in that experimentation. Now, the smart thing would have been to try that on my own and just set the camera to private and see if maybe it would work that way. But it is what it is. I learned my my lessons through that experimentation by making mistakes and trying again, and I'm grateful Owen found me tonight at the very least. Let's just fix. You know what? Do I have a hairband here? I thought I brought one with me. Maybe I did. Oh, yes, I did. We'll just tie my hair up as we wait a couple minutes to see who pops in. Oh, Andrew's in here tonight too. Want to guys let me know how your week's been going, if anything is exciting going on. Owen, how's your mom doing? Right? How's your week been going? I haven't asked after your mom in a little while now. I don't know if she's been keeping you busy, but but if anything's new and exciting, I'd love to hear it. Even if it's difficult week or something, like, we have to be genuine when we hang out together, right? I just don't want to be, I like to be optimistic. I try in my day to day to keep everything running smoothly. But in life is messy. We make mistakes all the time. It's in that fumbling. And we experiment as humans, as ourselves too. What does Owen say here? It got really warm here in Bloomington. I've had a summer cold in these past few days of spring, but nothing major. The students are returning from spring break. You know what? I had a strange experience with a cold last week, and it didn't even last 24 hours, but it felt like it was going to be a doozy. I thought it was going to shut me down. I came into my life, I could barely breathe. I thought I was going to sneeze all through my life, but just all of a sudden, just hanging out, doing my lives, I felt 100 times better. And then when I woke up in the morning, I immediately noticed that I didn't have a runny nose. I wasn't sneezing. And I said, like, how is that possible? It wasn't even a 24-hour flu, and I really thought it was going to be a doozy. Grateful, right, that it wasn't, but sometimes it's just in our brains, and maybe I just kind of recognized a situation and put myself in that situation, and then just hanging out and being comfortable, it just kind of dissipated from my brain. Whatever the case was, I'm glad it didn't lay me up for any length of time. But Andrew, right, I hope you're feeling better in the next couple of days. I'm not sure if the kids returning to school is going to affect you in the job that you're doing, if it's going to add any extra load on you or anything. But yeah, I hope your week gets better. Holy cow, we're just going into the work week, aren't we? And yeah, I would hate for it to be a long week for you. It has been busy for you, Owen. Oh my goodness. I hope nothing that you can't manage in any way. I know you're pretty steadfast in your caregiving, and just in the things that you do and your consistency of even showing up for me every Sunday. I really appreciate that. Oh, and I always appreciate that you were here first. Did it mess you up in any way when I tried to go live on my desktop? Did it kind of confuse you in any way? Did you get a notification or anything, or did you just kind of hang out and wait to see whether or not I was going to show up? I'm sure Owen would have sent me a message right away saying, "Where are you?" Tammy actually had to do that last week, I think at the beginning of last week, uh, or maybe the week before. It was with the time change and my clock stopped. I guess I had whacked the battery and it loosened up, and I just been looking at the same time. It was just moving slowly, and I didn't even notice. And then Tammy messaged me to say that I was late, but that was nice of her. And I didn't even ask her. I know you guys, you've been with me for so long, you would have been on it immediately. It was really quite a pleasant surprise, to get that notice from Tammy. But Tammy should actually have my email. I'd like to have her address actually so that she can get on our Christmas card list. I did have a couple of my Christmas cards returned to me. Um, this year when I sent them out. Actually, Kathy got her Christmas card just a few weeks ago. She was so excited. She messaged me, and I was kind of confused about it because I sent my Christmas cards out like a month before Christmas just to make sure everybody got them. But the thing was, I found in my desk a little booklet of stamps, and there was a time when you could buy prepaid stamps, and the stamps didn't have any dollar amount on them, so they're indefinite. You can use them as letter mail, whether it's like today or next year or 10 or 20 years from now. When the price of stamps do go up, they are still feasible to use. And I found a pack. They were probably years and years old by the time I had found them anyway. And so I used them, and it was the only reason that I could think of that maybe why it took so long for her to get her Christmas card. That was like, it was almost like 3 months late, her Christmas card. So I thought that to be interesting, but I used that booklet of stamps. Everybody else got their envelopes, but Kathy, hers was a little bit delayed, and it was funny. It's serendipities, and it was it was good because we were actually able to have a little bit of a exchange off of our live shows, right? She messaged me and told me the story about it, and I thought I do that with you guys on occasion too. But it's awesome that I have your emails, but it's not safe in the chats to put your emails in the chat. So I always appreciate it when you guys message me through Messenger or Instagram. If you guys can get a hold of me there and just give me your email address through there, that's at the very least that I can stay connected with you if there's some kind of emergency or something that my sister Alice can send out emails, or right. I actually should show her how to set up a live show just in case there's some point where I don't show up and you guys worry, that she could actually come in and hang out with you guys for 15 minutes and chat you guys up, let you know what the issue is. But you guys know there's an issue. If I'm not here on Sunday, you guys know that there's some kind of issue going on. Um, the returning of the students don't affect my job, though I work on campus. I'm not scheduled until Tuesday, so I can get a little bit more rest and drink more orange juice. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Oh my goodness. The last blizzard caused some damage in the yard. Oh, and you're cleaning it up. It was a bad blizzard. It was a bad one. We had just a little bit of snow this morning, And it was kind of lovely because I know it's probably going to be the last blast of snow that we're going to see before spring. The sidewalks are almost all melted here. It was a lovely day. It didn't get above zero. I think the warmest it got today was like minus, it was like -2, but it was really kind of a nice day. I actually just opened up my window right now to get some fresh air because I just got out of the shower too. I don't know why I get these ideas in my head when I'm about to, juggle going live and getting my coffee ready and having a shower and stuff, that I got it in my head. Oh, let's see if we can get the webcam going on my PC, because then we could have more clarity in the live. I've tried to use the webcam with my laptop, and it just doesn't work. I don't know what I'm getting wrong. I do a lot of googling and experimenting on that. I may at some point going back to filming. It's spring now, you guys, so there's no reason why I can't get on my new bike. I got a new bike this week, you guys. Hello, Tammy. I see you there. Oh my goodness. It's nice to see you pop in. I was actually saying that I wanted to get your address, Tammy. Don't put it in the comments here, but if you have Facebook or Messenger, just find me on Messenger or Instagram, Facebook. You can message me through there and just send it privately to me, because I'd like to have you on my Christmas card list. I was just telling them how Kathy just got her Christmas card just a few weeks ago with the time change. Was it the time change? Yeah, just a few weeks ago she got her Christmas card. So it took almost 3 months for her to get her Christmas card, because I sent them out a month earlier. So she messaged me to tell me that she had just gotten her Christmas card. It was a good thing, because I slipped a little Christmas card in a little Christmas pack that I put together for her. I sent her my wood ducks. I'm kind of downsizing. You would never know it by looking behind me, but I am downsizing. Oh, and talk about downsizing. I got a super score, you guys. Well, I got a few really nice scores today. I've got 3 mugs. One of them was worth $70. The other 2 mugs were worth $50, maybe $60 each. I listed all three together for $60. And I know they're just coffee mugs, but these coffee mugs are the elite of coffee mugs going on the market right now. They're called Danoon is the brand, and I did a little bit of googling and I went, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky to have these. So I walked up and down the aisles at the thrift store to see if I could find any more after I found the first one, and I found two more. So I had three of them. So I paid $2.99 each, so $10 for all three of them, and I listed all three of them for $60. So that's a good $50 profit. But not only that, I found a pair of in like new condition Hugo Boss sunglasses. Even the little micro cloth was still in the plastic and it's branded and everything, Hugo. And the glass case, it was a certain brand. It's by an orange, they called it the orange brand, but it was high end, made in Italy. And I listed them, I paid $10 for them. I listed them for $250. But the best score I got sitting right here. I'll show it to you in a minute. But the second best score that I got this week was my new bike. Oh my goodness, you guys, I got a Townie bike. They're $900. I would never pay $900 for a bike. But not only did I get the Townie bike, I got all the accessories. I got the basket, I got the review mirror, I got the cup holder, and I got the Townie bike bell to go with it. So in total, that bike is worth, well, at least $1,100 plus taxes. And it was really nice on Monday. I think I went on Monday, and I thought that I would go walk to an area that has lots of pawn shops. The first pawn shop I went into, they had a lot of bikes, but all their bikes were like four, five, six, $700. They had one bike for $150, and it was a super cycle that you can get at Walmart for the exact same price. So I said, well, what's the best deal? Like, obviously, I'm not going to buy those expensive bikes. And they were nice bikes. I'm not saying that they were not nice bikes. They were very nice bikes, but they were probably $3,000 or $4,000 bikes, but they were still very, very expensive to purchase. And I had the idea that I would spend $150 maximum on a new bike for spring and summer. And so I was on a mission, and the lady says, well, I'll give you that bike for $100. And I went, well, if that's what I can buy with my $100, that's what I can buy with my $100. But she says, if you walk down to Broadway, there's some more pawn shops. You can check those out. They might have one for you. And I said, thank you very much. I says, I'll be back. I knew nobody was going to buy bikes. The snow's still on the ground, but I had this idea. The snow was melting. It was a really nice day for a walk. I was going for a walk anyway. I might as well make it a mission of buying a bike before they're double the price, because as soon as the snow's gone, everybody and their dog is going to want a bike, and they'll just pay whatever, right? So I went for a walk, and I had my gumboots on. I'm all happy because I'm walking through big mud puddles and everything with my Keen boots, right? And everybody's like avoiding the sidewalk, and I'm just slashing right through everything. And I went into this pawn shop, and they had a few bikes too, but they were awful, you guys. Like, they were really old, from like the 1940s, 1950s, but not in nice shape. Like, they were rusted, the seats were ripped. Oh, they were just flat tires with right, no grid on them or anything. And this bike that I found, you really couldn't tell what it looked like because all the other bikes were kind of piled on top of it. And it had a price tag of $250, right? It was kind of out of my league, but there was nothing. I was tired from walking from one pawn shop to the next, and it's just not like walking a block away. I had to walk quite a distance away from the first pawn shop that I stopped at. And I said, how much for this bike, right? I thought, oh, it's got a basket at least. I said, it's got a basket at least, and the tires have got a little bit of air in them that I could maybe try and ride it home. And the seat was right really low, like it was like a Harley Davidson, right? Sitting on it. I didn't sit on it or anything. And the guy came up with his phone. I guess he was eager for a sale because all they were doing was buying stuff, and they hadn't made a sale yet. And he came out, and they yanked the bike out of the big pile of mess. And when I looked at it, just when they pulled it out, I went, oh my goodness, is this ever a nice looking bike? I thought, right? I Google lensed it, and I went, oh my goodness, these are $800 bikes. There's no way he's going to bring the price down for me, right? So he comes up to me. The one guy pulled it out. The other guy comes up to me, and he's got his phone in his hand. I says, what's the lowest you'll do on this bike? And he pulled out his phone, and I went, oh my goodness, he's going to Google Lens it. He's going to see what the price is. So I just kind of said, how much? How much for the bike? He goes, 180. And I thought that was a good deal. I said 150, but for a really nice bike, right, I was willing to pay an extra $30. And I said, 160? Would you do 160? Little old lady, right? He goes, yeah, I'll do $160. And oh my goodness, it's such a nice bike, you guys. Did I show it to you guys? No, I didn't show it to you guys last Sunday. I'm sure I didn't show it to you. Did I show? I think it was on my live show that my Monday to Friday show. I'm just gonna pull it over here and show you guys my bike. It's so beautiful, and I can't believe that I got a $1,200 bike for 100. Can you hear the little bell? For $160, and there was not even any taxes. Oh my goodness. Here she comes. Wow. And you guys, it's in like brand new condition. It has even, let me pull it over here without knocking. It's got the fat bum seat on it too. And wow, it has the rear view mirror on it, right? Rear view mirror, the bell, the basket is removable. You just lift it up and it comes right off, right? It comes right off. And with all the accessories, like I said, it's like a $1,200 bike. I couldn't get a lock for it, so the first thing I got to do is take it, put a little bit of more air in the tire, and get a chain for it. I want to get a great big fat chain for it. I know it'll kind of mess with and it's got 7 gears on it. And when I took the rating, it got a 9.0 rating by the customers of this bike. And it's a really high-end bike. It's the nicest bike I have ever owned, to be honest. And I have paid a lot more for my bikes than this. Sorry. Okay. While I'm standing up, I'll show you. This is that fancy brand of coffee cups. They're porcelain. That's why they're so expensive. And there's the brand on the coffee mugs. And I thought, oh, is this ever unique and interesting, right? So I asked the value of this, less than the value of this cup goes for $70, $80. And I've got 3 of them. I got 3 different. They're all different styles, but I got these ones. And then I was pretty excited, right? Because I'm about putting a roof over my head. Now, I don't have any money in the moment, but I'll be able to sell that and make a huge profit on them. And then these are the Hugo glasses that I picked up for $10, you guys. Oh my goodness. Made in Italy, brand new condition, like not a scratch, nothing. It's even got the Hugo brand on the, see, you can see the brand right. It's hard when you have reverse lighting, but I don't know if you guys can see the branding. Brand new in the package, the microfiber. And I got those for $10, so I listed those for $250. Cindy, the master reseller, right? And then it's got a little bag that goes with it. So I was pretty excited with that. You know, I didn't spend much money on items this week to sell, but I was super happy that, what did I spend? $30 on resale items. And then the bike, I spent $160. Before I go on my trip in August, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to fall in love with my bike if it doesn't get stolen. I'm going to fall in love with this bike and I'm not going to want to part with it. But the idea was to ride it all summer, keep it in nice shape, and then sell it for $400 in August and apply that money to my trip in September. That was the idea. But like I said, I'm probably going to fall in love with it and want to keep it. Oh, Kathy's here too. Hello, Kathy. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. We're going to get in shape. We're going to go for bike rides every night, and because, I'm going to probably do some videoing, like ride to the parks and stuff, and do my topics in the park and have some nice resolution footage. And I'm not good at being anything except going live. You guys know I get kind of flubbery when I'm scripted. And I always find that when you do a video, the video should be professional and clear, and I should have those point lists, and I should be on topic consistently. So this is why I do like to go live. I just like to come in, be myself, and just be able to come in. And lots of times I put my foot in my mouth. Sometimes I go down so many side branches that you guys probably get a little bit confused. But at the same time, right, we're having a good time. And it's always just to be genuine in the moment. And I think in the end, that's what's most important. I think that's what I appreciate so much about going live. But I'm going to tell you another story. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing summer, right? What they say with that El Nino, it's going to be a super hot summer. So you guys might have seen this before. I'm not sure if you had. I might have shown you in my walk arounds. And this is something I picked up, probably 4 or 5 years ago at that little thrift store I worked at. It was probably $2 or $2.50. And I probably got a staff discount on it. So it probably cost me like $1.40, $1.50 for this owl. It's a hand carved owl. It's beautiful. It almost looks real, like it's such quality made. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. But today I thought, I dropped it on the floor because I was kind of moving furniture around so I could find a place to put my bike. So I had to take a wall shelf off, and I had to rearrange my ornaments, and I had to move some furniture. And when I got into the mode. So I was just like doing a serious spring cleaning just because I know the clothes are coming out probably not for 2 weeks, maybe a week if it gets really nice next week. But I knocked the wall and this fell off because it's just sitting. This is just a base that I have, and it's actually, when you open it, it's a little container, and it opens up, and I don't know, you stick jewelry or something, and I had it. And this one, because it doesn't sit straight, it must have had some kind of mount or something at some point. I thought, I'll just stick it because it had a hole on the bottom, right? I'll just stick it over that, right? And the guy says, that kind of looks nice. And I don't really piddle around with it. And it looks like it's sitting on a tree, right? And then I noticed, you guys, that it had a signature. I don't know if you can see it there. See right down there? It had a signature on it. Now, this gentleman, I've been Googling him all day because I was so excited to find that not only was this hand carved and hand designed, but it turns out the gentleman who made this is named Peter Sawatsky. Sounds kind of Ukrainian, doesn't it? So I Googled him and I found him immediately. And he even had a Wikipedia page. And it turns out he's one of the most famous bronze, what do you call that? Uh, he does bronze statues is what he does. There's a name for it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. And his pieces go for between 15,000 and $40,000 for his bronze statues. But this isn't bronze. This is wood made of wood. But as I'm in Wikipedia and I'm reading about it, when he was first learning sculptures, that's the word I was looking. He does bronze sculptures. He's very famous. If you guys wanted to thank you, Tammy. If you wanted to Google him, again, his name is Peter Sawatzky. Sawatzky. Sounds Ukrainian to me, but I don't want to label, right? Just to assume. And he's one of the most famous bronze sculptors in the world. And his pieces go for huge amount. His little ones go for $15,000, $20,000. His big ones, he's got big ones too, like sitting in the parks and stuff. They can go for like $150,000, $250,000. But I said, well, this is wood, right? But it turned out, and he specializes in birds. He loves birds. And this is quality. You guys, if I had this just sitting here, you wouldn't know that that wasn't real. It looks so real, like the painting on it, the feathering, it just looks so meticulously beautiful. So I knew it was quality. But I didn't know it had a signature. Otherwise, I would have researched it beforehand. And it turns out he started his career as a bronze sculptor in 1980. For the 15 years prior to that, he was a sculptor in wood. He did wood birds. I only found 2 wood birds on sale online. One, they were asking $4,000. Well, I found 3. One, they were asking $4,000. The other one, they were asking $900. And the third one was in a auction gallery, and they wouldn't give me the price. It was locked. I guess when somebody bids on an auction, they don't let the clientele see what the price actually what it went for. So I don't know what it went for, but it went in a prestigious auction. So I got so excited about this, right? So the first thing I did, I says, I'm going to list it for $1,500 because mine was nicer than the other ones that I saw. I think they were nicer. And also to think his earlier works, I assume, would be worth more, right? So I decided to list it for $1,500, and I was doing my write up on the post, and I was taking pictures of it, and I was going to list it on Facebook. And then my sister Alice messaged me, and I was so excited. I let her know. I sent her a couple of pictures, and I said, can you do a little bit of research on this just to make sure that I'm not like just overly excited, a little bit right off the track in what I've got here? And she told me to take it off, not to list it on Marketplace, even though this artist actually comes from a colony here, and he his pieces would be visible more on Marketplace, right? Because it's to the locale of Winnipeg and Manitoba, that lots of eyes would be on it if I listed it. But what if I listed it at the wrong price? She said she said, let me do some research on it tomorrow, because she was coming back. She stayed at she was house sitting, and she was sitting in the hot tub and stuff, so she was exhausted. So she was going to go home and take a nap. And then she said tomorrow she'll do the research on it, because she thinks that it's probably worth more than what I'm asking for it. It's been sitting on my shelf for, like I said, 4 or 5 years, right? And she says, I think it just might be worth more than the $1,500, especially if it's one of his earlier pieces, which it has to be, because he only does bronzes now. And he's been doing bronzes since the 80s, right? So, and he's a senior gentleman too. I've been doing my research on him, and so I was pretty excited. And I says, okay, Alice, I says, if you list this on eBay, you can have 50% minus my cost. And then I sent her a little happy face, because my cost was only like $1.50 or $1.70. Because that's the deal. When she lists something that I get, we go 50-50 minus cost. And it's the same way around. So I had a little chuckle. She had a little chuckle. So yeah, so she'll get every penny. My sister loves money. Like, right? I do it to put a roof over my head, but my sister just loves money. And so she'll probably get me. I don't know how much she'll get me, but yeah, we're gonna list it. And that was the score of the week for sure. You guys have been getting some pretty nice scores, like, the glasses. The mugs aren't much, but I was pretty excited to find them, especially if they were only $3. My bonsai pot was only $6, and I got that listed for $1,000, right? So I'm pretty excited about that one. And then my glasses, my Hugo Boss glasses that I got for $10, and I got them up right now for $250. I've already got 2 watchers on them, and just wait until the snow is completely gone and it's a nice sunny day and people want to go to the Forks, and they'll be looking for their sunglasses, and these will get whipped up pretty fast, because they're pretty beautiful. You can't even find these glasses anymore, right? I looked all over, and there isn't another pair listed, and there hasn't been another pair listed, and they're branded all over, on the nose guards, on the arms, on the front piece here. Oh my goodness, the case, even the microfiber cloth is branded, and so yeah, they're legit 100%, and you could just tell by the quality when you lift them up, right? And so I've been doing really, really good. Now I'm broke. I need some money to buy some more restock, right? Because it's all invested out there now. But we'll see what comes back to me. I want to sell this at a good price for the customer, and so they can feel really good about getting a score, but also for the fact that this money is going to go towards renting my car too, for my trip in September. I'd like to get the car rental out of the way ASAP, just so that I can relax and know that no matter what, the trip is happening, right? And I don't want to keep investing all the money and not having any money come in, or have it trickle in and Cindy runs off to buy a bike or something. Let me have a sip of my coffee. I'm yapping away. Tastes really good. I hope everybody's having as good a week as I am. It's a mix, right? But that's what life is. It's a mix of yucky, a mix of work, a mix of frustration, a mix of excitement, and that's what life is all about, right? I'm happy to be alive and I'm happy to be human, right? I am very grateful for the life that I have. And a lot of people might not think it's not such a great life, right? But for myself, I love it. It's a challenge. It makes me smile and excited when I accomplish these little things for myself and not relying on others. It's not like others don't help me. They most definitely do. But I don't ask for it. I don't search it out. And when it comes across my path, right? It comes across my path and I'm just super excited that that life is moving well for me, right? Better late than never. That's what I say. Okay. Uh, and you may have an elite sculpture there, Cindy. Who knows? That may be one of the only kind owl sculpture of his. He has lots of owl sculptures, uh, but they're all in bronze, right? I don't know if he was a young man. This might have even have been one of his very first owls. I can't find anything about it. I was actually trying to find him on Facebook and stuff just so that my sister, she's like I said, she loves money and she's a go getter. And she has no problem tracking down the artist and sending him a picture and said, "Hey, did you make this? And how old were you?" And getting as much information on it as she possibly can. Right? I just had an ambulance pull up beside my building. We're going to send them some good cheer that they knock on the building door, and it turns out that they're okay, that they're recovering okay. They're grabbing the stretcher too, so I guess that there is some kind of issue with that. Tammy says, and yeah. So I'm pretty excited. Um, yeah, that I thought it was a very interesting story about Peter. Yeah, but you can. I love the jackpots. I love finding the good scores. Right, it's pretty exciting. I'm glad I have a hobby and interest that gets my blood pumping a little bit. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, definitely, it has been a week. I said too, quite a few times this week that I was going to relax. I was going to flake out and not. No, William's here too. Hi, William. I was going to flake out. I wasn't going to do too much. And I just kept getting antsy, right? I just kept getting this voice just to relax. But even when I was in the house, I couldn't relax. I couldn't flake out. Right? I was excited about the bike. I was excited about listing and my little scores and moving furniture around and yeah, so and of course it doesn't help me to relax when I can smell spring in the air, right? I hope everybody. I know Owen had a blizzard going on, but uh, but I hope everybody can feel spring. I hope everybody feels it in the air. I hope the snow is melting off your sidewalks and there's still some ice. We have a lot of bike paths. We're like Switzerland. In Switzerland, they don't use a lot of cars and stuff. They like to use bike paths and stuff. Everybody rides bikes in those Norwegian countries and cities and so here in Winnipeg, they took it up too because we're very outdoorsy here in Manitoba. We love the outdoors. And because we have the two extremes in temperature, we have very, very hot summers and very, very, very cold winters. And it was a long winter this year. We could actually say that we had a real winter this year. And it has been a few years since we had a real winter, but we love the outdoors and the city in there working on infrastructure has made a lot of bike paths, especially in between the the schools and the universities. They want to make sure that wherever you are in the city that you're able to get to your destination safely. And they have been working out very well, like, and everybody is using them even on the buses. Like when you catch a bus, a lot of the bus routes on the buses, they have the bike rack. So when you could take your bike to the bus stop with you, and then when the bus pulls up, you just lift your bike up, and the bus driver knows you're going to rack the bike, and he drops the bike rack for you, and you just drop it on the rack, and they just carry the bikes on the front of the bus, right? And the bike, I don't know if you guys in the States, do you have those buses that carry the bikes on them? I think the buses will hold at least 5 or 6 bikes. But I've never seen, not a lot of people use them in the moment. I mean, if they're going to ride a bike, they're going to ride the bike. But there's lots of homeless people too, and most of them do have bikes. They ride their bikes in the winter too at 40 below zero. That I know it's crazy, but they do ride their bikes, and they don't want to give them out because they don't have a lot of possessions that belong to them. And unless they want to stash them in the snow along the riverbank or something and take a chance that nobody's going to find them, they kind of have to drag their bikes along with them. Here in Winnipeg, right? They're supposed to be paying for their bus fare, but the Winnipeg Transit is really, really good, and they let the homeless just come onto the buses and not pay. They're supposed to pay, right? They don't put a sign up saying, free bus rides for homeless, but the homeless people just come on the bus and say, "Can I have a free ride?" And the bus drivers always say, "Yeah, go sit down," right? So when they drag their bikes around to warm up, what they'll do is they'll drop the bike rack, they'll put their bike on the bike rack, and then they'll come onto the bus to warm up and take a nap during the cold spells in winter. Come summer, it's a little bit different story. They're pretty strict on making sure that everybody is paying bus fare for their rides, only because it's nice outside in the wintertime. It's kind of hard, right? You don't want the homeless to freeze out there. And we had some really cold days this winter, right? But yeah, we have bike racks on front of our buses. But yeah, I think it'll only be by the end of the week, maybe. We got a couple of days of cold weather, and then it's going to warm up. Like tomorrow, I think we're going to get into the pluses again, and then it's going to get cooler under zero, right, for a couple of days, and then it's going to start warming up slowly. But it doesn't look like we're going to have too much, if any, snow rolling in for the next week. So I suspect that the roads will be clear by next week. And I'm just going to say by next weekend, because if it rains, that will take the last of the snow away. I like the cold. I love winter. And in fact, I love winter as much, if not more, than summer. Only in that idea. There's only so much clothes that you can take off in the summertime, but in the winter you can layer. And when I've got my snowsuit on and my Keens winter boots, and right, I got a good coat, my good Hutterite bonnet that I wear. Oh my goodness, and it keeps my ears warm and everything. My big cowl. I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy for sure, or that little kid from A Christmas Story. I look like that. But it's amazing to be outside, right? And I do go for a lot of winter walks as much as I do summer walks. I don't know if I could really. As of recently, I've gone for a lot of walks, only because some of my favorite thrift stores I have to walk to, and just to get out and to get some fresh air. But by the end of winter, I'm done. I'm ready for spring. Like I said, I can smell it. I can smell it in the air, and I'm pretty excited for spring for sure. But that's how my week has been going. Full, like I said, I just felt that I needed to relax and to calm down and spend some time doing little projects around the house. But when spring is going on, I want to be out there. When I get little scores, I want more scores. And on top of that, because I got close to the camera here with my laser eyes, my glasses with the reflective coating all peeled off, but it's grateful, right? Because it could have been a different story. Because when I came home with my coating all peeling off, I couldn't see out of them at all. It was like wax paper, and I wasn't in a position to dish out $1,000 for a new pair of glasses when these glasses weren't even a year old. But I was able to get all the coating off, but it did interfere with my lives. My glasses, I'm excited. They phoned me. My contact lenses are ready for me to pick up. I'll probably go on Monday or Tuesday to pick up my contact lenses. I was kind of hoping to drag it out until maybe the end of next week because I'm sure my glasses will be ready by the time we do our next live show next Sunday. You guys will have to come in just to see Cindy's new glasses, right? Guys will be able to see my eyes again instead of the lasers. Morse code. I'm sending messages. Yeah. Oh, okay. Andrew says the buses we have in Bloomington have racks on the front that can hold two bicycles. These racks come in very handy. Oh, have you used the racks on the buses, Andrew? Have you used the racks on the buses, or basically it's the university students, right? And also it's handy too because we pop tires, right? We get flat tires and stuff. And if you've ridden quite a ways, that possibly, you'll be like far away from getting home. It'd be nice if you could pop your bike on a rack and get yourself at the very least part way home without too much difficulty. Cindy, you are a hoot. I love you. Oh, Tammy, you guys are so awesome. I so appreciate that. But yeah, you guys, I'll look like a different person. Maybe I'll even come in with my contact lenses on and you guys can see what I look like without glasses, right? I'm kind of used to myself wearing glasses now. And I even find it odd to look at myself in the mirror because I really do have very tiny eyes. But because of my prescription, they make my eyes look, oh no, look at there, you guys. You can see my eyes. Bring my eyes back down. Yeah, maybe I just needed to be, no, it doesn't matter. It'd be however I looked. Yeah. But one more week, I'm assuming for sure one more week, or maybe this week sometime, they'll give me a call and let me know that my glasses are in, and I'll take very good care of them. When I go camping and stuff, I'll probably take these glasses with me because a lot of my videos and stuff that I'll be doing on my trip, they're not face to face. A lot of it is walking down trails. And so, because I want you guys to enjoy the views too of the experience that I'm on. But I think what I'll do is I'll just take these glasses with me when I go on my trip. I might take the other ones with me too, just in case, because I do know I do turn the camera around on occasion, but I'll keep them in the case to make sure that I take good care of them because I can't be dishing out $1,000 every single year for a new pair of glasses. Might be better off for me just to stay in my contact lenses. But you might not see my eyes that way either, because like I said, these ones are like what do you call them, saucer eyes, because the lenses are so thick they make my eyes look kind of big, but you guys have been hanging out with me for so long, you don't notice. But I actually do have very very teeny weeny eyes. It's like my chicken arms too, my chicken legs. Um, I often use the bike racks on public buses. Oh, Andrew, that's awesome. The university has its own bus system, but there are no bike racks on those buses. Isn't that interesting? No bike racks on the university buses for sure, because that's basically where they put the bike racks on our buses or on the buses that do go to the universities. We have the University of Winnipeg here, downtown, beautiful campus. They have a beautiful, they've been expanding on it for probably, more than 10 years. And they buy up all the big, old, beautiful buildings and they turn them into different, I don't know, different halls for different subjects. And then when they build new buildings, they either make them very modern or they make them look like old buildings and still technically modern, right? From the inside, but outside, you might think that they're an older building. But that campus is now, it's got to be three blocks squared, like 3 blocks on each side, and lots of buildings. But they do that now, even with hospitals. They do that now. Like we have a lot of hospitals and they have like a lot of underground tunnels from one building to a next, but they do that in a lot of hospitals, and then they're able to expand on the hospitals without expanding on the building. And hospitals should be quiet and they should be calming for the patients, right? So I can appreciate that they put different buildings, a cardiac building and a diabetes building, and I'm just making up illnesses that attach to a building, but just so you guys can get the idea on that, right? But yeah, that's interesting to know that they don't put them on the university bikes. And like I said, do you have the trails, the specific bike trails in your city, Andrew, that are especially meant for the bicyclists? Like we do, ours are about 3 feet, and then they have a concrete border. Is that what you call it? Concrete. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it's just a little way just to make sure that they're not going into the traffic and nobody's going to get hurt. And it'll take a while, right? Because it's a new system. Like they even done new transit subway system here, and it's going to take a while. It's in a big plan, but it's in a plan that they can break up every year and do different routes and different add-ons and everything. And so you have a former railroad line that is for bikes and pedestrians. Oh, isn't that it? I think that's beautiful. What a great idea, Andrew. We had over 24, I think 24 rail lines that came through directly through downtown Winnipeg in the 18 and early 1900s. Now those all those rail lines are all covered in concrete. We're now a bit of a concrete city. Yeah. Even our heritage buildings, a lot of them are concrete and a lot of them are sandstone buildings. Beautiful, beautiful buildings. I think we have 15 square blocks of vintage buildings. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys, like when I went to get my bike. Well, to go back to the first conversation before I trail off down some sideline there, is that we have 15 square blocks of heritage buildings, protected heritage buildings. They can't be torn down. Some of them are um, not in use. They're waiting for funding and donations to be renovated and stuff, because a lot of them have out wall electrical and right old lead water pipes and stuff that really do have to be replaced in order to make them useful. But they work on these buildings every year as the funds come in, they work on the buildings, and then they rent the buildings or lease the buildings to different companies, and a lot of artist groups and stuff. They really take care of their buildings, and then they also fund these renovations by renting out the buildings for movie crews. They make a lot because this 15 square block can almost 100% represent an old city from the 1800s or the early 1900s. There's no new construction or anything going on down there. I'm just trying to think just to make sure. I think it's all old construction down there. So they do a lot of movie production. And my brother-in-law Ian is an actor. He doesn't want to. He does a few speaking roles, but he likes to be extras. He likes to do the extras. He has such a character face, very handsome man, and you wouldn't to know him. You wouldn't think that he would enjoy being in movies. He just finished doing a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger just did a movie here, and he was in it. Oh, John Travolta. He just did a John Travolta movie, and there's a new movie because I was going to trail off. When I went to get my bike, when I was on my mission to the pawn shops to get a new bike, I stopped off, and they had closed off all the roads, and there were notices on all the buildings. It was a heritage area of the city too, so lots of old apartment buildings and stuff. Um, but they had rows of big trucks and kind of motor homes and bathroom trucks and stuff. And when I was coming home, I stopped on the other side of the street because I didn't really want to bother them. And I was watching them. They had these great big racks that looked like coat racks. And like when you go to a clothing store, and on these racks were big cameras and camera gear. And I guess these guys were taking them off the truck, and they were kind of polishing them and making sure everything was in working order and stuff. And they were hanging them up like they were clothing on these racks. So I don't know if they were wheeling them into the apartment buildings or not. But yeah, they were making some movie there. And I meant to talk to my brother-in-law because I know he's probably in the movie. Like every time there's a movie in the city, the company, his agent always gives him a phone call or messages him, however they contact him, to let him know that they're looking for somebody, because everybody loves my brother-in-law Ian, and he's very dependable too, and he enjoys what he does. And because he has such a character face, he has a real character face, that he's well suited. But you would never, because I know my brother-in-law, I know he's kind of introverted and he kind of hangs out on his own and stuff. Like you wouldn't think that he would have a hobby or an interest that is so extroverted. But right, you can't judge a book by their cover. You really can't. And I actually know my brother-in-law very, very well. He was one of my best friends. He actually walked me down the aisle when I was married, right? And but you would never think that he would have a hobby or an interest like that. And it very well surprised me too when Andrew told me that he loved acting too, right? And I went, wow, like Andrew's such an intellect, right? That I thought, I can't imagine him being so diverse in his interests that he actually would be an actor too. But you can't stereotype people, can you? You can't really judge somebody, because you never know what's going on in the inside, right? I'm an extrovert, but I'm also a very much an introvert too, right? There's actually a name for people who are specifically. It's not just an introverted extrovert, but there's another one too. and especially for the way I think into the because I'm very diverse. I think it has something to do with coming from a diverse family and the way that everybody in my family thinks that I kind of assimilated, synthesized all of the way that they think, and I came up with my own way of thinking. And it's where you don't look for other people for information. Maybe Andrew knows the terminology for this one. You don't look to other people for their opinions and then mimic them, right? That I actually work through personalities and perspectives, and I pick through them, and then I come up with my own perspective about things, and it works really really well for me, especially when I'm truly trying to really understand somebody, because each one of us is a mishmash of different personalities, different perspectives that we picked up along the way. But because of the way we're brought up, we usually feel that we have to pick one and stick with it. And we know how diverse Andrew is in his interests, and probably kind of caught the hint as to how diverse I am in my interests and the way that I think. That yeah, there is a terminology for it, an actual name for it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm going to make a mental note because I was talking to somebody about it, and I wrote it down in my conversation with them. So maybe I'll go back and find that comment and write down the terminology so that I don't forget next time, right? Okay. I remember that movie Silver Streak. I think the huge set was in the airplane hangar. What are we talking about? Oh, coming up here. Uh I remember the 70s movie Silver Streak, in which the train goes crashing through the station at the end. The setting was Chicago, but it was really filmed in Canada. You know what? Silver Streak. I remember that movie. It was kind of an action movie, wasn't it? But it had some really funny parts on it. Now I'm trying to remember. But I think my dad took us to the drive-in to see that movie. We did the drive-in theaters. They don't have drive-in theaters here in Winnipeg anymore. I wish they did. We loved the drive-in theaters. Even when, the mosquitoes were getting into the car and stuff, right? But oh my goodness, we used to do the midnight movie, and where we'd all dad say, okay, we're going to the movies tonight. We'd all pile in the car at 10 o'clock at night with our pillows, blankets, and our pajamas on. And then we go into the concession and grab our popcorns and our pops, and then we just curl up on the back seat, and with the big speakers that would hang in our windows, and we'd watch movies all night, and there would be like 3 or 4 movies. Those were fantastic times, you guys. Oh my goodness. I really loved the drive-in theaters. It's a lot of things that the kids, they grow up these days, and they have their phone and they have their internet, and they have sports and social media that the way we lived, you got to think that it was pretty amazing, right? To drive in theaters. What else did we had? Well, they have skateboards now, but everybody had a skateboards and scooters and roller skates. We had the roller skates. We go roll to the roller rinks and roller skates. And I know the roller rinks are becoming popular now because I got kind of hooked on on watching short videos there for a while of some of these dances that they do at the roller rinks, right? Especially down in some of those southern states, and it's the black ladies and gentlemen that do the dancing, and they're so fabulous at it. They get little routines, and what do you have that when they all get together and they do the same dance routine and the roller skates are so interesting, right? And what else did we do? Oh, our bikes, our big banana seat bikes with the big monkey bars, right? With the big monkey bars. That was a lot of fun, right? We didn't have rules on the street. We didn't have to license our bike. We didn't have to worry about people stealing our bike. I don't think any of my bikes when I was a kid did I ever have to worry about locking them up or anything. Nobody, right? It's not like today you go to the grocery store and if you leave your bike outside the door, you know it's going to be gone by the time you come back. That's why I want to make sure that I get a great big thick chain or at least one of those nice bolts that you can't cut through, right? At least make it as difficult for them as you possibly can. Because, yeah, I got a bike now that's worth stealing. That's pretty incredible. I paid $160 for my new bike. I'm so excited. I might even tomorrow take it for a walk and make sure that my tires are truly filled and I'll just take a short little bike ride, just play it safe, right? Just play it safe where there's no snow or anything, just to give it a little try out. I couldn't really try it out when I bought it because whoever bought it pushed the seat right down. So it was kind of like I was on a Harley Davidson because the seat was so low and the handlebars were way out here. But I tried it. It was hard. I was able to ride it for about 2 weeks through mud piles and little snow drifts, but it wasn't really safe for me to do so. And so I got off the bike and I just walked the bike the rest of the way home. But I tell you, I wouldn't have gotten that bike, that price this week for sure. I wouldn't have gotten the deal. And probably the price would have gone up another week ahead of time, right? Okay. I got to go to the drive-in theater. Oh, yes, I remember that one. I remember that one. Action, comedy, romance. Yes, I remember that one. There was another one though that I was actually thinking of. It wasn't the Silver Streak. It was another one. I think all the characters had blonde hair, and yeah, it was a robbing. If they robbed banks or something like that, and at the very end, they got chased by a police car and they crossed a railway and a train hit them. And yeah, so yeah, different movie because not a comedy, that movie, but it was a lot of action in that movie for sure. Yes, the drive-ins were so much fun. Yeah, I don't know why they don't do the drive-ins, right? Just for even date night, like where you could take your date out for a movie and you can make out in the car and stuff, right? Like that was so much. Not like I ever made out in a car to drive in. I think the drive-ins, well, they were still kicking around in my early 20s, but by the time I was 30 years old, they were pretty much gone. They haven't been around for decades, but yeah, I just love the drive-ins, right? The Saturday matinees where you, for 50 cents or $1, you go and stand in line at the cinema and you go in and you get to see like three movies. There would always be like Family Robinson, there would be like Grizzly Adams, and there would be, oh, for sure, I can't remember, but there were a few movies that were consistent being shown at the cinemas. But yeah, to eat popcorn, and my dad was always good for that, to make sure that we had money to go off and have fun, especially if he was home and he was driving cab. Like he needed to sleep during the day, and it would probably been hard for him to sleep with everybody running around the house and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, we did lots. Blue Thunder, yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Tammy. You're giving Andrew a run for his money. Yeah, you're giving Andrew a run for his money there. Yeah, all the smart people. I get all the smart people here. Uh, Tammy says, I agree, Kathy. The drive in theaters are fun. I believe we have maybe two left in the state of Michigan. Oh, you guys still have drive ins. Wow. Maybe I'll just have to come to drive in sometime and just, or come to Michigan sometime just to go to the drive in. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool for sure. Pretty reminiscent and right. I get triggered sometimes by the past, growing up the way that I did, certain music tunes like the Happy Days tune, like sometimes it triggers me. The MASH song, the song from MASH, sometimes that triggers me. The All in the Family, those tunes. Pippi Longstockings. Oh my goodness, I really got triggered from Pippi Longstockings, and sometimes not always in a good way. And I always assumed that maybe I had a bad experience when I was watching TV or something like that. But yeah, when I hear that, I'm not big on music, though I do go in and I watch like American's Got Talent and The Voice and what's the other one? There's another one too. The Voice and I don't know. But yeah, and then I listen to the people singing, right? And to try and get into the competition. So I just pick those up when they come across my path on YouTube. But otherwise, music's not my thing. I don't even have a radio, even though I do have some music playlists. And sometimes I'm in the mood. I'll put on the 70s, 80s music and I'll just run the playlist through that and I'll just pop over and watch the old MTV video music videos on them. But but it's normally the music from the 60s and 70s that I get triggered in them. So I think that's the reason why I'm not a big music fan. I don't dislike music. I mean, if it's playing in the background, it's playing in the background. But I don't even know the words to most songs. Like, I probably know the words to maybe a half a dozen words or half a dozen songs in total. It's not high up there on the list for me. For me, I love the peace and quiet, and I love the sound of nature. I love the trees and the birds and the wind, and I hear the water and the creeks and the rivers go. I love nature sounds, right? But yeah, I'm a big fan of silence in all honesty. And that's because I'm a contemplator, right? Because I'm not a big meditator. I don't meditate, but I get a lot out of just contemplating, just being in the silence and just seeing what comes across my path and just kind of working with ideas and thoughts and perspectives, sometimes some topics that I've come across and right. And I spend some time with that and yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. And yeah, it's not that I don't try. Every once in a while, I try to meditate. And especially when I come across, like, I've been appreciating some of the new content creators out there that encourage us. Like, there's one gentleman, he does breath work online. He's actually from Ontario. His name's Dan DeLu, and really, really nice gentleman. But he's from Ontario. They still got lots of snow, and he has a beautiful home and a beautiful dog, and he does breath work every day. So when he comes online, I'll sit in on him, and then they'll go, "Okay, we're going to meditate," and I sit there, right? But he goes, "Close your eyes. We're going to meditate." But when he does it, he does the breath work at the same time. And I don't breathe super deep. But I do get lots of fresh air when I'm outside and stuff. But I find when I do that breath work, right? When you pump your body with lots of oxygen, how it goes to your brain and stuff. And he does that breath work that sometimes it's a little bit of work and it's kind of like kung fu or tai chi or something. And you're just really giving it because sometimes he wants you to breathe really hard and really deep. Sometimes he wants you to breathe with just sighing and right? And letting things go softly. Sometimes he wants you to just hold your breath and just feel your heartbeat and stuff. But he's he works with football teams in the States because he's always sometimes when he travels and stuff, he does his videos from the football fields and stuff. But yeah, if you're interested in hanging out with him, he's a really, really nice guy, super friendly, great insight, great perspectives. It's just not breathing, right? This gentleman is woke and he knows what he's doing. He's an expert in what he's doing. And he's got to be an expert. Otherwise, these big football teams wouldn't be hiring him as their breath coaches, right? But yeah. Oh, Earl's here too. Hi, Earl. I've missed you this week. I didn't see you at all this week. I hope your week has been going good. I hope it was just because you were busy and not that anything was going badly or anything. It's nice to see you in here tonight, Earl. Yeah, everybody always encourage you guys to come in and hang out or just pop in and say hi. You can see how you get enveloped by everybody who kind of hangs out here on Sunday nights. Absolutely amazing. I can't resist. Does anyone else remember the songs Heaven is Just a Sin Away and No Tell Motel? Well, I'm not going to give you any answers on that one. Seems that Kathy remembers. Kathy remembers that one. Oh my goodness, Tammy remembers that one. That one too. I don't. To hear them, maybe I could bop my heads to them as if I remember them, but I wouldn't know the words. I'm not very good with words from songs. I don't know a lot of songs. Sometimes I could jump in at the chorus, right? Um, and maybe some of the Christmas carols and some of those children's songs, like I remember, like, how much is that doggy in the window? Right? I would remember those ones. But yeah, as an adult, yeah, I'm not very good with words on songs. Actually, there is one song I do remember is that song When I Need You. He was a one-hit wonder. What was his name? I can't remember his name. But yeah, he had curly hair. He kind of looked like I can't even remember the exercise guy. Remember the guy that did the exercises who wore the tank tops and the red striped shorts? I can't remember his name either. But yeah, to trail off, get everybody confused in that. Uh you like that? I love that little doggy in the window song. Or or the Richard Simmons. Yes, Tammy, Richard Simmons. But yeah, it's surprisingly the kids' songs. Like I love to sing the kids' song. Oh, and I have to say Donny Osmond. If any Donny Osmond song comes on, I actually watched. He did a music video about 5 years ago, and the song was actually really really good. And I went, oh my goodness, he's the same age as me, Donny Osmond, right? And all of his children, all of his boys, especially, they all look exactly like him. But then again, in his family, like his brothers and sisters, they all looked alike too. So they've got very, very strong genes, that Osmond family. But yeah, Donny Osmond, oh my goodness, I was a big fan of Donny Osmond. Actually, when you come to BC, I would just travel from one concert to another. If I could afford to go to every single one of his concerts, I would, right? It was the same thing with the Bay City Rollers. I really liked the Bay City Rollers too, but that was in my Scotland phase when I was all about Scotland, right? And I think that was the main reason why I liked the Bay City Rollers. I remember even stuffing a love note in Derek from, I can't remember his last name, Derek from the Bay City Rollers. And he was the drummer, right? And I would stuff love notes in his socks because they would always tape videos and they did shows in Vancouver in the studios. And there was a French gentleman, and again I can't remember, Rene Simard. That's what his name was, Rene Simard. He had a television show that he taped in Vancouver, and he would invite different artists onto his shows, right? And I liked Rene Simard too. I don't even know. I haven't heard of Rene Simard in decades and decades. I don't even know if he's even singing anymore. I'm going to write that down because I'm curious to know what Rene Simard is doing these days. Right? I haven't heard from him. Does anybody else know who Rene Simard is? Yeah, he's from Quebec. He was a French dump. Well, at that time he was a teen bopper, right? He liked the he was young. He was probably about 16 or 17 years old. I really liked him, and he was very popular. But again, like I can't remember him even being in social media or doing music even into his 20s. So he didn't last very long, I don't think. But while he was singing and doing shows, he was really, really big. Like to even have his own show, right? He was really big. Um, Yes, Donny Osmond. I heard all their songs through the years. My mother loved them too. Yeah, the Osmond brothers, right? Yeah, I was a big Donny Osmond fan. I remember thinking that one day I was going to marry Donny Osmond. But you know what? He kind of makes me proud because he got married in his 20s, and he's still married to the same lady. Like, he is an example for the family unit for sure, right? And he kept his faith and everything all through being a big superstar and everything. That he took a lot of pride in being a Christian. Oh no, are Mormons Christians? I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure if Mormons are Christians. I know he was Mormon, but it might be a denomination of Christianity, right? I'm not quite sure. So I'm not gonna label. Uh uh I do that kind. Oh, what did I get? I got a huge laugh from Richard Simmons talking about workout videos that had synthesized elevator music and a lineup out the leotard clad Stepford wives. I remember all that. I was laughing out loud over that. Yeah, that actually was. He was so popular, and there were so many rumors in the past recent years that he had passed away and everything, right? And he actually had to come back into the public eye just to let people know, like, hey, you guys, I'm still alive and kicking. Don't write me off yet, right? But then that's social media, anything for a headline to get people's attention, and they're not even true, right? I was sad to hear that Chuck Norris passed away, right? I used to love, right? I wasn't big on the action movies when I was a teenager. I usually liked the adventure movies, but the action movies, I wasn't a big fan on that. I always thought they were made for the guys and stuff. But Chuck Norris, I really liked Chuck Norris. And when I say action movies, I really liked Charles Bronson movies too. Surprisingly, I really like Charles Bronson movies. Yeah, we're going back a ways, you guys. I do that of work, Earl. Deep house cleaning and spring cleaning. Is that what Earl's been doing? Some spring cleaning? Oh my goodness. No. Right? Right? I'm not a true believer in women's lib. I think the that movement caused a lot of damage to the family unit. I really do. But it's in that role playing. So you can't expect that the wife was going to go to work, bring in an income, right? Babysit, cook, clean the house, do the gardening, right? And then the men go golfing and bring home the paycheck, right? That it there has to be a little bit more balance, not especially when women these days are really choosing to do careers. But it is important that, that family unit is two parented, right? The little boys shouldn't have to grow up without a male uh, figure. And the little girls also. And, if you take that burden off the mother, there would be time enough to maybe teach the kids how to sew, how to knit, the little boys how to fix cars, how to mow the grass, how to treat a woman right, and then possibly like Donny Osmond and his wife Cindy. Thank you for reminding me what her name was. That just like that couple, who's an example for all of us for long-term healthy relationships, that possibly, right, we could bring that back, because I really truly believe that a family unit consists of a mother and a father, but not just putting the wives to work in the kitchen, right? um, Andrew, I got a huge laugh from. Oh yeah, we got that too. Tammy says, "Oh, and I already said that one. A deep house cleaning in the spring. The Osmonds had a lot of talent, but I wish it had been used for something far better than the bubblegum songs they mostly recorded." Yeah, they were under the rule of their dad. Their dad was the manager, just like the Jackson 5, right? That their dad was the manager, and they weren't writers, I don't think, of any of their music. I think all their music was written for them. And because they got really hot, like, with the 16 magazines, the teen magazines and stuff, they were making money on that. And even though the Osmonds might have preferred, right? Because they were dancing, they all had, I mean, it was the style in the 70s and 80s, right? But it was all social media, right, to make it all hyped up. And I think that's what all the music groups at that time were doing. I think that was the beginning of the boy bands, wasn't it? Even though Marie Osmond, right, she joined the group for a little while. And Marie Osmond and Donny Osmond actually had a variety television show for many years. I remember every week being glued to the television show to watch them, right? You're a little bit country, you're a little bit rock and roll. See, there you go. Cindy does sing. um, yes, you were right about Cindy and Donnie. Perfect. I got that one too. Oh my goodness, you guys are chatting. Um, oh, and Eugene's here too. People don't like married pop stars. I read that after Donny Osmond announced his engagement attendance for his concerts and Madison Square Garden dropped by half, right? But he started stretching himself. Remember, he was doing those Hawaiian coconut movies with his sister. He also got a gig, I think, in Las Vegas. Yeah, so they kind of stretched. He made his career loss. He was actually on that where they wear the animal costumes. I can't remember that show too. It's a pretty popular show. They wear animal costumes and stuff, and you have to guess who the singer is under the costume. I remember he did a season of that. Yeah, hi, Eugene. And people were mad at Paul McCartney for marrying an American woman. Yeah. Again, that's social media, right? They destroy marriages for sure. Oh my goodness, and stir things up. The performer who really impressed me is Nicole Kidman. I thought of her as someone playing the female lead in an action picture, but she went on to portray Virginia Woolf and get the Oscar. Oh, that was a horrible movie. Oh, I just really hated that movie. I thought it was so bad. And it got all kinds, you're right, it got all kinds of awards. But I don't even think I sat through the movie. I went to the theater to see that one. And I've never walked out of movies except for that movie, Towering Inferno, because of the was it Tower? No, Earthquake, because Dolby Sound came out and it scared me. The music, because it sounded like everything made me like shake when Dolby Sound came out, and that was a movie that I had walked out of. Actually, I went to the movie theater with my dad. He got me back in because he really wanted to see the movie, but yeah, that movie when Dolby Sound came out, yeah, I walked out on that movie. But yeah, that movie, Virginia Woolf, I walked out of that one too. Well, I thought it was a terrible movie, right? I really thought it was really a bad movie. Uh Love Partridge Family. Oh my goodness, David Cassidy, right? Oh, I was madly in love with David Cassidy. Yeah, I really loved that television show. I was glued to the TV when I was a teenager. I watched all those shows. My mother worked hospitals, and when she worked the night shift and everything, just to be able to be in the house and feel comfortable and safe, and to be able to watch whatever I wanted on TV. That was my thing for sure. I love Susan Day. That was on the Partridge Family. And Danny Danavucci or something. I can't remember his last name. David Cassidy was a gift performer. I once saw him at the piano singing As Time Goes By. Oh my goodness, that would have been. You saw him in person, Andrew? Um, Susan has stayed young looking. I haven't seen her for years either. Uh, yeah, but the Partridge Family, yes, I forgot about the part and the Brady Bunch, you guys. I love the Brady Bunch. Wow, we're really going back, aren't we? We're all dating ourselves here. Yes, Susan Day in the dramatic movie Mary Jane Harper cried last night about child abuse, a powerful performance. I can't remember that movie at all. But that movie, it remind when you said that, the movie that did pop into my mind was that one with what was her name? She did the movie Sybil. Oh, what a great movie that was. I just loved that movie, Sybil. That was pretty awesome. I can't even remember. She was going out with Richard Burton. I just thought if I mentioned Richard Burton's name, her name would come into my mind right away. But I'm sure Andrew or Tammy's going to know the name. When I saw David Cassidy perform as time goes by on TV, I would have been great in person. It's terrible we have to get old. Sally Field, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Sally Field, yeah, that movie Sybil, it was pretty awesome. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Oh my goodness, we're after 9 o'clock. See, we just let it run away on us again tonight, you guys. I try to keep it around 9 o'clock when we end our lives, because I know on the East Coast it's like after 11 o'clock, maybe closer to midnight. But yeah, yeah, I really did like that movie, Sybil. Okay, you guys, that's gonna have to be it tonight. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, next Sunday when I show up, there won't be any Morse code, laser eyes going on. I'm pretty excited about getting my new glasses, but I'm pretty excited about how my week went altogether. Anyway, got my some scores and things where I can make a few dollars, and if it's invested in my little scores here, I'm not spending it, so that's a good thing. You guys, you have a great night. Multiple personalities, yes. Oh, right, the psychiatrist was Joan Woodward. I really liked her too. I thought she was a good actress. Yeah, she was married to Paul Newman. Yeah, I really liked her. Okay, you guys, that's going to be it tonight. If you guys want to come in tomorrow night for What's My Good Cheer, happy to have you. Maybe Earl and Tammy and Eugene, they usually come in and hang out with me. Actually, Kathy came and hung out with me last week. That was pretty awesome that she popped in. I was telling them before you came in, Kathy, about the Christmas card, how you just got your Christmas card. Yeah, it was pretty that was pretty weird that you got your Christmas card so late, but sometimes better late than never. Everybody, have a great night. Have a great week, right? Going into Monday now. When I come in on Sunday night, I hope everybody had a productive, quiet if you wanted it to be quiet, but whatever it was, I hope it was good and everybody had a good week. You guys, have a great night.